Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to work on a John Deere D130 rear wheel, and this is on request. I had one subscriber ask how to get a John Deere wheel off that was rusted on. Now I happen to have a D130 as my personal mower, and while mine may not be rusted on, taking a wheel off and how to get it off when it's a little sticky is pretty much going to be the same thing. So let's go visit it and have a look and see how that works. And for those of you who are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Okay, first thing we're going to do is get the back end of this up off the ground. Now you want to make sure it's nice and stable when you're working on it, because there's nothing quite like having a tractor fall on you. But we only need to go up just a little bit here. Just right about there. As soon as the wheels are free, you're good. And now let's take the dust cap off. And if you're all rusty, you probably don't have a dust cap anyway. That dust cap, as you can see, it fits around this washer. And that's what holds it on. Now I'll pull the E-clip off. And that comes off pretty easy peasy. Due to the size of the E-clips, it's a lot easier to work with than most of them are. So now, assuming that this wheel's just stuck in place, note that we do have a kingpin on this one, or I'm sorry, a keyway pin. So what we're going to do, after we've soaked this down with penetrating oil, and be generous with penetrating oil, what I'd usually do is put the keyway up, and then try to fill this up and fill it up and fill it up and fill it up over and over again, and then let it sit overnight. And as you'll see in a minute, this wheel, what we're going to do is we're going to push the wheel that way, because what we want to do is the rust is stuck to the wheel and the axle, and we need to break that grip. So once it's sat and soaked overnight, we're going to find a socket that fits on the axle, over the axle, and onto the rim itself, because it's a nice little steel rim. And we're going to seat it up here, and we're going to try to get the rim to go that way. Because job one is just to get the rim to move. Once it's moved just a millionth of an inch, then it'll free up and come off pretty easy. So we're going to that should be enough to make the wheel let go. And then she comes loose. So let's look at the other side real quick. Let's pull this off. And what we've got here is we've got our little keyway pin, a washer, and then this is plastic. So it is what holds your wheel from going all the way back. So without this in the way of the wheel, you could put it all the way in, it would rub all the way up against this. So what you're counting on is the flex in this plastic to allow you to put it all to allow you to push the rim in a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and clean our dirt off of this real quick. Okay, and after a little bit of selective real quick editing, all our parts are nice and clean, so we're going to put that on. We're going to put our washer on. Now we're going to put our keyway pin in, and we're going to notice we're going to slide it all the way back, as far back as it goes before it starts raising up, because it'll raise up at the very end. But this way, pushed all the way in, when you're putting the wheel back on, you can hang the wheel. As you can see from this side, you can hang the wheel there on the axle and then just ease it around until it finds the pin that'll slide right in. And you see we're locked back in. Now I'll put our outside washer back on. Now I don't like to have my E-clip lined up with the keyway pin. It probably doesn't make any difference, but it makes me feel better if it's on the other side. So we're going to put that over here. We're going to grab our little pliers. We're going to squish it back into place. There we go, that's pretty close. Yeah, that's almost there. There you go, and it clicked in nicely. And that's it. Now we're going to put our dust cover back on. Now, put enough grease on this to make sure that she doesn't get stuck again on you again, that it doesn't rust up. Definitely make sure you put dust caps on. If you accidentally tore your dust cap off, taking it off, go ahead and replace it, because it's your friend. It keeps the dirt out and it keeps the water out, which is most important. Because those are going to be bare metal after time, and the grease will keep it from rusting up and seizing up again for you next time. And that's it. It's really just that easy. So just to summarize, what we did is we took the E-clip off, we took the washer off, we hammered the wheel that way at the very center of the wheel using our handy little socket so that we didn't hit the axle. And when it broke free, when the rust lock broke free, then we pulled the whole wheel off. Done and done. So as you saw, the wheels are pretty easy to take off on a John Deere. Just keep in mind that little plastic behind it, that little plastic shim, it's okay if you wreck it, because pushing the wheel in will break the bond you've got between the wheel and the rust and the axle. And that's the idea, is to break that bond. And make sure you use tons of oil in there, and make sure you put your dust covers back when you're done, or you're going to go through it all over again. Thanks for watching. And again, for all you new people out there, don't forget to hit the subscribe and the little notification bell. I do appreciate it more than you could imagine. And we'll see you next time.